Keep an eye on him. Do you want to record me?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. In this video, we are going to be reviewing a clip that was recorded at London Hyde Park Speaker's Corner of a Christian being harassed by multiple Muslim men. Now, many of you may have seen the video I did last week where it was a Christian woman preaching at Speaker's Corner of her faith and a Muslim man taking particular offense to this and asking a police officer to intervene, because in that Muslim man's view, she shouldn't have the right to say anything that could be interpreted as critical of Muhammad. Well, I believe this clip is actually from that very same day, just at a later point in the day. You'll notice in the video it's a lot darker. But what's interesting is how the police respond to this. If you want to watch the video from last week, you can click in the corner over here. There will be a link in the video. So let's watch the clip.
Go back to your country. Go back to your country. Go back to your Muta country. Muta country. Muta Muhammad country. Go back to Muta Muhammad country.
So straight away, this woman, whose name is Shalini, does give it both barrels in terms of she stands up for herself and she doesn't let them push her about. In this video, she does call these guys who are following her every name under the sun, which is quite entertaining.
Where you can have sex with your sister, sex with your mother, sex with your daughter. That's what Muta country is.
Keep an eye on him. Do you want to record me today?
Why are you missing? See, bro. You're only shooting the عندي انا قاعد الله سبيدر مان شيطان
Hello, he's Shatan.
Hello. They only know that. They only know that. Their Allah is
butter
a
chicken,
sitting
rice and butter chicken. Go. Rice. Basmati rice. Yalla.
Don't record me.
No, record.
يلا show me the plate. Show me.
No, butter chicken better.
Butter chicken. يلا go India.
This is Islam.
Go.
So you'll notice in this video, the Christian lady tends to walk a few steps in one direction, and then some Muslim men will follow her, being offended by what she has said about Muhammad. What's surprising to me, though, is the amount of racial insults. And how do these men deal with a Christian woman at Speaker's Corner, the place of free speech in the United Kingdom? How do they deal with her talking about Christianity and talking negatively about Islam? Well, they follow her, they physically assault her by knocking her hat off. They use racial language to insult her, which is interesting because it's always the same kind of insults that are thrown around. If the person is a woman, they'll attack her because she's a woman. If the person isn't white, they'll attack them because they're not white, which is, yeah, that's an interesting way of doing it. But keep in mind, there's police in this video. You can see in the background, there's a guy wearing like a luminescent jacket in the foreground, but I don't think he's actually police. But in the background, there are police officers there. And the fact that these guys can clearly see it. They can clearly see there's police there. But they don't feel disempowered by it. They don't feel that they need to be on best behavior. They don't feel like, hey, maybe we should stop doing this because we're going to get ourselves arrested. They actually think that that's no worry to them. They can make racial slurs, they can physically attack the woman, and they can harass her, and no worries. Apparently this is just, yeah, you know, if there's like 4 police officers in the background, it's not a problem. The audacity of that, it still gets to me. Like, how can you be that confident? How can you do something blatantly not legal and just be like, well, don't matter. It doesn't matter if I'm being watched by 4 police officers. What are they going to do?
Muta Muhammad only taught them sex with women.
Next time you recorded me, you'll find out me. I want to try and keep it a simple message. Maybe if we want to have a debate, we can have a debate in the comments.
I don't think there's any.
I'm going to kick your ass, I'm telling you. I'm going to kick your ass, and you will know.
She actually goes over to the officers, calls out the officers to say, officers, look at what's going on here. She has to put her hat back on because I have a funny feeling, although it wasn't captured in the video, but I think someone had once again knocked it off. To which they don't go, ooh, she's calling for police. They go, no, let's continue this. So they go up to her again and they start yelling racial insults, racial slurs at this little woman. Like, why is a little woman threatening to you? I always, you know, and when you talk with Muslims about this, one way they'll often understand it from their culture and their paradigm is that, well, this is an insult to us, this is insulting, so we have the right to escalate. And I always think, wait, we don't see that in any other way of life. We don't, like, we get offended so we get to punch you in the face. Like, no. You respond in kind. You don't, someone insults you, you can insult them back. If someone attacks you, you have the right to self-defense. But if someone upsets you because they talked about someone else that you just happen to have a high opinion of, and you decide, well, guess I've got to go get physical now. Sorry, it shows that you're very insecure in what you believe.
You idiot of Islam! Filthy, disgusting, filthy, pedophile Muhammad!
Allah! Yalla! Eat rice with chicken, yalla!
Come now, come now! Idiot cowards! You cowards!
Gandu.
Shut up! Shut up! Get lost!
I just can't get over how they feel, how these guys feel they can actually do this. They can actually scream in a woman's face racial things because she's from the Indian subcontinent, and then in front of like 4 or 5 police officers. How do you get away with that? And it's clear that she's going to them to kind of be like, look, like, these guys are following me, and I'm not going to stop what I'm doing because I'm not going to show them that they can get away with this. They can silence me by harassing me, racial slurs, physical assault. No, don't care. I'm going to keep doing it, which is why she's giving it in kind. When they start giving her racial insults, she just starts saying, hey, well, I'm going to critique Muhammad then, if you do this. And the police are like, I wonder what should we do here? What is the protocol for when a woman is being harassed by multiple men who are shouting racial insults and physically assaulting her? What is the protocol? Let me just get let me just get my police training manual out and see what it says. Section B. I don't know. It's silly to me, especially since there's so many of them. I get, maybe if it was like one police officer, you'd be like, oh, okay, well, you know, there is a few Muslims here, so it is going to be him trying to deal with it on his own. But there's 4 or 5 of them. I don't know. It's a weird scenario.
Go and tell it to your mother! Go tell it to your mother, Gandu! Tell it to your mother. I'm not your mother.
Biryani! I want biryani. No. Biryani meat. I want. Come. Butter chicken. Come.
Chicken gandu. Spicy chicken gandu.
Tell it to your mother. Tell it to your mother. She likes your finger. Your mother likes your finger. Go and put it. Put it in your mother. Your finger, not in me.
Why are you running?
That right there is a bit of an omission. The Muslim guy just said, why are you running? And that's important because it illustrates that from their perspective, she is trying to get away from them. And they know this, which is why they're still following her, even though she's now standing right next to 4 or 5 police officers.
Put your finger in your mother, not in me.
Orange chicken. Where's your mother?
Put your finger in your mother's ass, not in me.
Shut up, go.
They're just standing like this.
Why are you letting these guys
Go.
Come on, bike. Flipping heck, man. Good. Well done.
And finally, the police step in and go, maybe we should probably detain these guys because they seem to be breaking the peace a little bit. They do arrest them, or they do take them away, or at the very least escort them from the park. I actually hope they press charges and do actually do something, but I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that they did intervene, because we're at that point now where I wouldn't be surprised if no one intervened and the woman was just continuously harassed. I mean, remember, there's now supposedly hate speech laws, so pretty sure making racialized insults at someone is committing hate speech. So why these guys feel that's appropriate and they can get away with it so brazenly in front of police officers is beyond me. But good on them for finally taking action. Now let's watch one of those Muslim lads who was chasing the Christian woman yell and scream as he is being handcuffed by the police officers.
Stop fighting! No, you're under arrest. I'm 15 years old, sir. Okay. So you're happy to fight a police officer? Police officer, aren't you? Okay. Hey, stop. What happened? Hey, stop. No, you don't want that, did you? I don't know. We'll have the cell van. So I'm just about to leave. Where am I going from? I'm going to go in the cell van. I want to arrest them. I didn't have to say anything. No harm. No, it might be that. One question, something. No, I said he was going to stand up. What's happened?
I'm not sure. They might have said something to the police. I think they were harassing Shalini. You know Shalini?
But I guess it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Just cooperate, my friend.
Yes, we get him back.
Just cooperate.
Why you got arrested?
Getting extorted or talking to by the police. Right, this guy's
Why
going
you
to
get
prison.
arrested though?
So overall, job well done by the police for getting these guys out of there. Wish it was a little sooner, but you know, you can't have everything. I do think what's interesting about this, knowing a little bit about the dynamics of Speaker's Corner and the way that the police operate in Speaker's Corner, there is a very pragmatic approach where if the police go into a situation and one person is being harassed by, say, 10 people in a crowd of 20 or 30 people, that one person is easier to remove than the 10 people who are harassing her. So the police often operate on a, we would rather detain you or arrest you potentially and get that one person out than actually deal with the 10 people who are actually causing the problem and actually breaking the law. And that is devastating because it basically leads to police punishing and administrating justice That's not actually justice, it's just whatever's easier for them from an administration point of view. Like, it's gonna be really hard for us 5 police officers to deal with 10 guys, so let's pick on the one person, even if it's a small tiny Indian lady, and let's get her or arrest or detain her so that we don't have to deal with a bigger problem. But of course, when you do that, you're sending a message, which is that if you have enough numbers, you can basically just do what you want without consequences. And I think what happened here in this video is because it's in the evening and it's getting darker and there are fewer people there, and because the Muslims were so brazenly in front of police and they were somewhat separated from the wider crowd, it was easier just to pick them off and to get them away very quickly. And I think that's why ultimately they were moved out and they eventually the guys like taken into the police van. I think that's why that happened. If they had actually just stayed by the crowd, I think the police wouldn't have actually acted. Even if they could see it very clearly, and even if the Christian Indian lady was screaming for help, it wouldn't have led to anything. That's my theory, anyway. It's interesting as well to see how quickly things became racialized. I mean, remember, these are Muslims who feel insulted because the Christian lady has said something about their faith that they don't like. So really, they should be approaching it from a religious point of view, but it doesn't. It changes. She keeps it, at least at the beginning anyway, about religion, but then they descend into, actually, no, we're going to make this about race. We're going to target you. They talk about biryani rice and chicken curry or whatever. They bring these things up because they have no issue with making racialized attacks, even in front of the police. Whereas from a more westernized perspective, a more Christian perspective, actually, people's race has very little to do with it. It's actually about your beliefs as a person. And she's approaching it from that. She's like, look, I'm a Christian, you're a Muslim, I think Islam is wrong, I think Muhammad isn't a prophet, here's why. They respond by talking about biryani rice and chicken curry. Like, that's the level that they're willing to go to attack that person. But as Christians, we understand, actually, wait, there is no valid distinction based on race. Galatians 3:28 says that there is no man or nor woman, nor free, nor slave, nor Jew, nor Gentile, but all are one in our Lord Jesus Christ. We can see beyond these things and get to the important matter, and that is, what do you actually believe and what do your actions tell me about you? But for them, not being able to defend Islam and not being able to withstand criticism leads to, well, just a mess of racialized abuse. You could very much imagine how this would have turned out if the tables were reversed and it was perhaps a native English person saying those kind of comments to them. You know, that wouldn't be tolerated at all. That would be something the police, I really do think, would have stepped in by if it was a native English person saying those things, that kind of racialized language. But thanks be to God, we have a better example in our Lord Jesus Christ. With identity being in our Lord, we don't need to worry about the petty attacks by other groups that will racialize things, because that's beneath us. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, somewhat of a happy ending. I hope you all have a great day today. God bless you all, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.